the road gets bumpy. Oh boy. I know I can make it. I know I can. I made it here in a car. I certainly can make it in a van, right? Bumpy roads lead to everything falling. Yeah, and most of these things were actually secure. So like this was attached to the wall. This road was really bumpy. Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. That was a bumpy ride, but with good reason. We came to a place that I have come before early on in my channel. We came to St Elmo ghost town, but whenever we came, it was very creepy. We were the only people here. It was a fresh snowfall. It was completely quiet, and it was interesting to say the least. So I decided to come mid-season and find out what happens at St. Elmo's when everything is open. And as you can see, it is busy. But first, we're going to put this stuff back into place and hope it doesn't fall again. Maybe we'll secure some things for the road down. Now, just in case you did not see that first video, picture this. This downtown right here, no people. A little snow on the ground right in this area over here. Again, no people. It was the true feeling of what it would have been like to be in a ghost town. Now keep in mind, there are a few people who actually call St. Elmo home. So those people were still living here, but I didn't see not a single one of them. And so as I walked down the boardwalks, I could hear the creak under my feet. Whenever I came over to look at these buildings that are in disrepair, I could hear the wind whistling through them. A very, very different St. Elmo than I'm seeing today. It is a bustling, popping place. Tons of OHV vehicles are roaming around, and some of the buildings are actually open so we can explore. So let's go. Okay, while we're inside and slightly away from the noise of the roadway going through here, I want to tell you a little bit of the history of St. Elmo. For example, did you know that it wasn't actually at first called St. Elmo? It was actually called Forest City. But then they discovered that there was another boom town in California called Forest City and decided that it was time to change their name. The name that they selected actually was said to be inspired by a novel by Augusta Evans, St. Elmo. The original settlers of the area came here in about the 1870s, and in about the 1880s, St. Elmo that we know today actually started to spring up after they discovered silver in them there hills. Of course, after making this discovery, the railway decided to move in because they now had necessity. And even though the passes were extremely difficult during winter months, for a long time, the railway actually ran straight into town to pick up loads and then straight out, and actually became also a tourist destination as tourist trains would come from neighboring communities. Now by 1926, the railroad had officially run its course in St. Elmo, and they actually pulled the tracks. And with that, it was a short decline until St Elmo became classified as a ghost town. Now, while people do still live here, the population number is under the amount to qualify it. So it remains a privately owned ghost town, which is crazy. You can come here and find tons of different structures, see what they might have looked like, and it's one of the most intact downtown areas that you will find in all of the West. Now, the original town site of St Elmo was about 70 acres, and in its heyday there were about 2,000 people that called St Elmo home. Now there's just a handful, but the preservation here is amazing, and they did have a few issues along the way that made it a little harder. They've had some fires, and with that they have tried to rebuild those structures. For example, that church we were in earlier, rebuilt. There's also a couple others that are down this way who are actually protected by the Historical Society, and they are worked on and maintained by that group. So that's pretty cool, and definitely really worth it coming up here during the summer months, because then I could see all of this and hear a little bit more of the history. Now again, there are signs like this saying we can't pass through the gates and things like that because these are privately owned lots. So we are going to be really super respectful of that. However, just beyond the fences, you can still get a good look at what might have been here. Tons of cool buildings like this outhouse, and then the different kinds of materials that they've used on this one, very interesting. Now this one right here actually has an electrical line running into it, so I don't know if somebody actually lives in that one or if it's just one that was improved upon at one point. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting to see the differences as you go from building to building and learn a little bit more about this really unique place. Now we are going to stop into a very cool like visitor center that they have up here also and find a little bit more of the story out. But this is amazing, so amazing. And look at what I found. It's a bunny. I noticed as I'm walking around that they have signs on them like this, and this tells you how old this building really was and what kind of building it would have been. Now this one looks like it has seen a little bit better days, but really neat to see that this building right here is still intact from the 1800s. Mind you, the inside looks like a garden, but it still stands. Now something that I'm just gonna let you see. Last time I was here, I saw something whenever I got home and I was looking at my pictures and it kind of creeped me out a little bit. But now that I'm here, I know I wasn't crazy. Do you see what I see? There is a person in the window. It's hard to see it, but it is there. Yes, a person in the window. Now imagine, after being here by myself, all alone, in the ghost town, getting back and looking at my photos and seeing that. My heart was pounding so hard. I thought I was crazy, but now I'm able to see that no, in fact, some of these windows do have mannequins in them. Whew, talk about scary. Something else I really enjoy doing is looking at all of these articles that are displayed here in the windows. This one especially, very, very interesting. Did they find explosives in the outhouse? Well, you'll have to come and find out. And this right here, the mayor of St Elmo was actually considered to be Mud the dog. And when she passed away, it was so important that they actually ran an article in the newspaper. Of course, that's just a couple of the many stories that you'll find if you come out and visit St. Elmo, and I definitely encourage you to take each and every building one by one to see what you can find. With their stories, the mannequin, the history, so many cool things. Definitely worth coming out here during the summer. Okay, we have arrived at the American House Hotel Parlor, and this is where we're going to go get a little bit more of the story. So let's go inside. Now, very cool. You can literally read through the history of St. Elmo along the walls and see photos from different points in its lifespan. But I thought this was kind of cool right here. It says, what makes it unique? In fact, whenever it was brought onto the National Register of Historic Places, it was brought on with over 38 buildings. 38 buildings, all of which predated the 1900s. So the buildings that we are looking at today, the vast majority of them are the original buildings or portions of them. So that is super neat to know that we're standing in buildings that have been here through the test of time, through the elements, and you know, they just don't build them like that anymore. Now, along the way, they have had to make some stabilizations and things like that to make sure things were intact so that they would be safe. However, with the exception of the buildings that they've had to rebuild as a result of fire, everything is how it would have been, which is really, really neat to know. Now, in addition to the things that they have already done to bring St. Elmo back to life, they also have some other projects that they would like to tackle. So if you come to St. Elmo and you see a donation bin, you can actually drop a little bit of fundage in there, and that'll help with the improvements on other projects. They have some cool things that are mentioned in here that they would like to work on. And if they did, I would definitely come back to see that. Okay, let's go into the general store slash mercantile. It's actually open during the summer months, so I'm really eager to see what's inside. Okay, so very cool stop. You can definitely get a nice cold drink in there. You can get a snack and all of your merch that you want. I picked up a magnet, which I'll show you guys in just a few minutes. And then we saw those amazing hummingbirds. But one of the other cool things is next to the general store, they actually have an antique section. And you can go back here and see all sorts of cool little items, and it changes from year to year on what they actually keep in stock. So definitely check that part out too, because look at this, it's amazing. And then across the street over here, they actually have something really cool. It is a bed and breakfast. So you can actually stay inside of the ghost town. Now, whenever I came through, I don't recall that bed and breakfast being open. That doesn't mean it wasn't. I could have just been freaked out by the fact that I was here by myself. Who knows? Well, adventurers, I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me to St Elmo during the summertime whenever it is alive and poppin'. In fact, this time of year it doesn't seem like a ghost town at all. It seems like an alive and thriving community, and I really have enjoyed myself, and I hope you have too. If you did, make sure that you leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and check out my future content where we're going to be exploring the great state of Colorado for just a little while. And also I'm going to be sharing some more cool van stuff, so you're going to want to check that out. Till next time, guys. Bye! Okay guys, here's our new magnet, and I think we're gonna put it right there. Yeah, I kind of like that there. Good deal.